Alright, so let's take a look at some examples of solving equations containing rational expressions. Take a look at the problem we've got here. 4 over c equals 3 over 2c minus 1/5. So basically some rational expressions which just makes this equation harder. Now our goal is always the same, of course, is to figure out what c is to make all of this equation work. But solving it becomes trickier when we've got all these rational expressions. But what we've got is a little trick that's going to help us. And before we do this problem, take into consideration this problem right here. 1/4 plus x over 4 equals 3/4. Now I'm willing to bet some people already can tell me what the answer is here because they know with the common denominator of 4 that it would just be 2. 1/4 plus 2/4 is 3/4. And in fact, because the 4 across the bottom, the denominators, is all the same, really we were just considering the top part here. 1 plus what would be 3? It would be 2. So we're going to use that same strategy to our advantage here. What we're going to do is we're going to make it so that all the denominators are the same. Kind of like what we did with addition and subtraction, but we're going to use it in a different manner. So first thing is to identify the least common denominator. Now in this case, the least common denominator, well, let's take a look at what we got in terms of factors here. These two share a factor of the variable c. This has a factor of 2, and this has a factor of 5, none of which share other factors in common, so if we put those all together, we get 10c. So 10c is our least common denominator. So our job here is to make all the denominators the same. So first one, here we've got c. I want to change it to 10c. So my best move here is just multiply top and bottom by 10. I'm going to rewrite it over here. So on top I get 40 over 10c equals. Now this one, 2c. To change that to 10c, I'd have to multiply by 5. And of course what I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So I get 15 over 10c. And then this one, minus 1/5. The 5's our denominator, but I want, again, 10c. So I'm going to multiply the bottom by 2c. 2c times 1 across the top is 2c. 10 across the bottom, 2c times 5, 10c. And now, what I can do is this. Since all the denominators are the same, what I'm essentially going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by that LCD. Because what happens when you multiply something and then multiply by that same amount? Well, they're opposites and they cancel each other out. So if I multiply this side by 10c, which is already being divided by 10c, they cancel out. And I'm allowed to do that because whatever I do to one side of an equation, as long as I do it to the other side, that's okay. So when I multiply over here by 10c, this makes these cancel out on the bottom. So what I get is 40 equals 15 minus 2c. And I get an equation which I can now easily solve. Undo it. And looks like we're going to get c equals negative 12.5. So that's the strategy we're going to try to employ today. We're going to try to take things where we look for the LCD so that all the denominators are the same, but instead of adding or subtracting together, we're going to use that to just get rid of all the denominators so that all we're working with is the numerators, which makes life a lot easier.